Hey, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host Gungu Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another special episode. Now, it's been such a long time since I last filmed anything, like recorded anything. It's been a whole month because all the shows that went up in July were pre-recorded in June because of my Wi-Fi situation and other things that I was going through. So I had to pre-record all of them. So every show that you listen to in July, it was pre-recorded in June. So it has been a whole month since I sat down and recorded anything. So like even coming to record today, I was like, will I even remember how to start? I had to like rewatch like the past ones in order to be able to remember how the show goes. But it's funny just thinking about it, like it's just been a month of me not doing this, and because of that I've forgotten some of the ways that I usually conduct these shows. But anyway, for everybody who's been watching all the shows, thank you so much. For anybody who has ever recommended me to their family or friend to subscribe to my channel, I'm very, very grateful. Please continue doing so. We are stuck at 31 because while I stopped recording, we were at 31 and now we're still at 31. So please, 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 please tell your friend to tell a friend, tell a relative, tell another relative. Just please help me with the subscribing so that I can be able to get as many as possible and maybe monetize this page someday, okay? But either way, I'm just super, super grateful that you're back here, that you've been here. For everybody who listens and texts me on WhatsApp or Instagram and tells me that I heard what you said last time, I'm super grateful. I wish you could be liking the shows. I don't know why you don't do that. Please, the moment you just hit like play, could you just go down there and like the episode? That will help with the traction. Please just do that. The moment you click on play, just go down there, click on like. Tafadhali, tafadhali. And then you can continue watching or listening or whatever it is that you're doing. So please, please, I'm asking you to please do that because it will help. It will help with the traction and I'll be able to get more subscribers who are not people that I know. Like the 31 people that have subscribed are people that I know. So imagine if you just help me so that, YouTube will see that, oh, people are liking this page, this, channel, and then they'll continue recommending it to other people and I'll get more subscribers and that will be your way of helping me. So, tafadhali, the moment you hit play, then hit the like button and to comment. You can even just say good job or I agree with you on the comment section. It doesn't have to be like a lot of words. Just say I agree with you, or yeah, that's true, or yeah, I've never had that happen to me, or I know the feeling. It can just be like even this was good, like just do anything, or even just emojis of clapping. I don't know. Please just help a sister out, okay? So on today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of the South African movie Smart Casuals. Smart Casuals is a 2024 romantic movie directed by Zoe Farisani. I don't know if the first name, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but the spelling is ZWO. So, yeah, whoever listens to this and goes like, yeah, that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'm Kenyan, I'm not South African. I don't know how it's pronounced, so please forgive me, but I want to learn, okay? Yeah, so the cast members are Angela Sitole, she plays Malatsi. Terence Ngwila, he plays Becca. Anga Makubalo, he plays Taki. Mandisa Constable, she plays Tumi. Nyaniso Dzedze, he plays Donald. Nomsa Twala, she plays Katlego. Kudzai Mureriwa plays Tresor. It was a French name. Katlego Moshana or Moshoana, I'm not sure how you say that name. She plays Nomfundo. Letabo Monareng, she plays Linda, amongst other cast members. If you love spoilers like me, I'd urge you to continue with this. But if you do not like spoilers, please go to Netflix, watch the movie for yourself, then come back, listen to this, and tell me if you agree with me or if you do not agree with me, because this is your official spoiler alert. Smart Casuals follows these two couples. That is Malatsi and Becca, and then there's Taki and Tumi. Malatsi and Becca are a couple who have been together for I think over 12 years or so. They've been engaged twice. This is the third time, and she has stopped the engagements those two times, the prior two times. So now this is the third time. They say third time is a charm, but it wasn't a charm. Like this guy Becca, he was the most toxic guy. He was the most toxic guy like I've ever watched on TV. Okay, not the most toxic, because if you've watched, was it Broken Vows or which show was it? I know it was Tyler Perry's movie, but there was this guy that everybody hates. Every woman hates this guy, so he was the most toxic. But then Becca goes like Becca is number two or number three there because this man was just a bad man. I don't even know why Malatsi gave him a chance, another chance, that is. I don't know why she did that. Because this man is just bad. And if he's behaving like this now, and this is the third time, what did he do the first two times that she broke up with him and then she still gave him another chance? So anyway, I'm going to talk about them first and then I'll talk about the other couple. So this couple, they start with this situation where they're having their prenuptial interviews, but it's being set up as like a reality show. So Malatsi sat down talking and she was with Becca. But then this guy, they were supposed to have one-on-one interviews with the film crew, but then he says that he has a meeting that he cannot miss and he leaves. And this is something that he had already accepted to do, but then later on he says that he had double booked and he's sorry. So he leaves. Of course, Malatsi is very disappointed. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly as well. I'm sorry. But then she's very, very upset. But he leaves. The camera guy has been looking at this girl in some type of way. And I'm not sure if I was reading into it. Maybe it was supposed to be played out that way. I felt like he was looking at her like he was sorry and was wishing that he was the one in her life and he would do better. But then also, I felt like he was like just sorry for her. And he just wanted a story, but then he was still sorry for her and he didn't want anything after that. Like he was just like, yo, I'm sorry for you. But yeah, that's life. So anyway, so the guy comes back later, Becca, and he comes with flowers and he's looking for her in the house. He apologizes. And then he starts going off on the camera people, saying that camera people and videographers, that is not a job. Like what they're doing is not a job. And he is so insulting. He talked down on camera people and videographers and everything. And I was like, what does this man mean? Because seriously, how would you just put other people's careers down like that? Like they just sit down drinking and I don't know, smoking and going clubbing with women, blah, blah, blah. He was talking as if they do nothing, as if it doesn't earn them any money. I was like, this is not even being traditional. This is just being selfish and stupidly ignorant. And I don't know what else. Because he was so bad for that. Like he was so wrong. And he goes off on them and she has to stop him and just be like, you are hurting people. Like you've perfected the art of hurting people. And it's true because hey, yo, I looked at him talking and I was very, very upset. On every camera person, every videographer out there, I was very, very upset for them. Because I was like, this guy, no, you just don't do that. And you don't go off talking about other people's careers because it does not matter. As long as it's earning them money and as long as it's putting food on their table, just don't. Just don't think or feel like whatever it is that you are doing is better than what they are doing. It's just wrong. But anyway, so he goes off and he does and says all these things, but then she stops him and so he calms down and is like, okay, so later on they're in the bathroom, freshening up before going to bed, and he's like, so I hurt you, I'm sorry. So what am I supposed to do? What did I do in the past that hurt you or something like that? She explains, and then he goes like, so what can I do tomorrow? Like, so that I never hurt you again. And she talks to him about that. And so later on, it's shown that this guy has an affair with another woman, and that's why he keeps leaving. So there was another shoot again. You see, now they had to postpone. So when he comes for the second one again, he's talking, and he's now talking down on Tresson. So Tresson is, he's been calling him Trevor the whole time. And T, I'm going to call him T because Tresson, no. He he has been so good. Like, he's been accepting whenever he's been called Trevor. I was like, you're a better man for it, because I was being called Millicent by former bosses, and I kept telling them my name is Mildred, not Millicent, so don't do that. So he kept accepting. I was like, yeah, boss, and everything, giving him respect and calling him sir. Well, this man is disrespecting him by calling him a name that is not his. So Malasi goes like, Malatsi, I don't know how to say that name, goes like, that's not his name. His name is Tresor. And it's like, but I've been calling you Trevor, boss. Why have you been accepting? And it's like, because it's not a big deal. And this guy, Becca, doesn't even catch the drift. He says, like, you see, it's not a big deal. He doesn't mind it. But then, why is your name like that? What kind of name is that? And he goes like, oh, yeah, I'm half French. And it's like, French? How? How are you half French? And he goes like, well, my dad is South African and I was raised here. That's why I'm here. But then my mom is from Congo. And this guy goes off telling him that no, Congo, that means that you're half Congolese and half South African, you're not French. Just because the French, like colonized you does not mean that you're French. Because French people do not go around saying that they are half Congolese or whatever. Or like, what? Are we South Africans supposed to say that we are half British or half Africans and half South African? Like, I was like, yo. And this guy is just standing there listening to him rant about all these things, thinking that he's so smart with whatever he was saying. I was like, you are a fool. Like, seriously, I wouldn't listen to what that guy was saying. I would have walked away or just shut him up. Because he continued yapping and yapping about all these things. That, yeah, you have to be proud, African and proud. And so he tells Tresor to actually say it, like, say it with your chest, like African and proud. And I'm like, or something like that. I'm not sure. But he says something like that. And to his credit, T does it. And then he just looks at him. Like, the way T was looking at people, it was like, I don't know. His eyes were saying something that I'm not sure I understood. Because it was never spoken out loud. So I'm not sure if you're supposed to be giving that with his eyes, or that's just how he looks at people. I'm not so sure. But yeah, so after he yaps about all these things, he leaves again, and that's when it's shown that he's been having an affair with another woman. So his wife, when he leaves, he says that he'll be back in half an hour, in an hour and a half, an hour, an hour and a half. And on the other side, this lady tells him that she's in love with him. He pretends like he can't hear him because they were just, posts, as Mkorogenzi says, reading the Constitution. And after doing that, so he was lying on his tummy and she was like on his back on the other side, and she was like, hey, I'm in love with you, can you hear me, babe? I'm calling you, can you hear me? I'm in love with you. And so he finally goes like, yeah, I'm in love with you too. But of course he can't. A person who does not love themselves, they cannot love other people. That is something that the other couples say to each other. But this guy also didn't love himself, because hurt people hurt people. And I think this guy was hurt at some point in his life because the way he was treating his fiancée, and then the way he was just behaving with Tresson, it was just bad. So anyway, he goes back home, and so there's this day Mahalati wanted to go to another shoot again. So it's still the pre-wedding interview. So she asks him to drop her, And he goes like, no, you can just book a ride. I won't be able to do that. I have a meeting. And she goes like, you have a car. Why can't you just do it? And he gives excuses and be like, you do this. Book a taxi in the morning, book a ride in the morning, and then I'll pick you up later on. And she goes like, okay. So they're at the shoot and she does this thing and Tresor is giving her like, directions on how to do because I don't know, they're supposed to cut in a particular way. So he was supposed to come in and that part where he drives in to pick her up was supposed to be a part of that video. But then he doesn't show up. So she waits and waits. 30 minutes later, she calls him and she's like, you're supposed to pick me up 30 minutes ago. This guy doesn't answer because she wanted to say that, like, that's what she wanted to tell him. So T gives her a ride back to her place and she goes there. He's not in. Later on, he comes with flowers and he's like, I'm sorry, are you upset? Go and I don't think she spoke to him at first. And then he goes to gaslight her, telling her that, the reason I don't do ABCD and the reason blah 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 is because you do nothing. And she's like, what? Did you hear me? I said you do nothing. And then he starts blaming her for adding weight and saying that the reason he's being unfaithful is because she has added weight. So before, when they met many, many years ago, as if a woman's body is not supposed to change, like after 12 years, you're still supposed to look the same, yo. Hey. And so he goes like, yeah, when I met you, you were this beautiful girl, slim, blah, 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 and all this. And then you just let yourself go, started eating cheeseburgers and I don't know what. And I'm like, hey, hey, God of Abraham, because you talk to me like that. For what reason? Why? It doesn't matter I've added weight. Like right now, I know I've added so much weight and I know it and it bothers me because I want to look a certain way for me, not for people. So if I were to start dating somebody and they met me like this and they liked me like this, I will tell them that, yeah, I want to reduce weight. But for them to start calling me fat and telling me to reduce weight, I will just walk away because women's body change. What if I get pregnant and I add like I don't know how many more kgs? What if I don't know something? Like women have so many issues, especially with our hormones. What if something like that happens and I just stay like this? And no matter what I do, I cannot be able to reduce my weight. What will this guy do? So he'll be cheating and blaming it on me because I couldn't lose weight. Yo. When a man starts insulting you with the way you look, walk away. Because even she said it, I think, at some point, Malati. She said, like, when a man, okay, I'm not saying word for word, I'm paraphrasing, like, a man can tell you that you're ugly until you start believing it. Like, just walk away. When he starts telling you that you're ugly, when he starts telling you that, I don't know, you're too fat, when he starts complaining about the way you look, just walk away. Don't. Unless it's just a casual talk and you're also concerned about how you look and you want his input, don't tolerate that. Like, just leave him alone. So anyway, they have that fight, but then they continue with the wedding plans until eventually they are supposed to have, I think, their final shoot or something. Then this traditional attire, like she's in her wedding dress, because it was a traditional dress, but he called it her wedding dress. So she's there. She's supposed to take these photos, I think, or it was on the D-Day, I don't know. But she walks in and she's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And they start arguing, and the camera crew run outside and they start still film. They're still rolling while the guys are having a fight inside, and they've asked them to give them some privacy, but they continued doing that. So yeah, they broke up eventually, and I was like, good for you, girl. Good for you. Because she had even gotten, when he called her fat, she started going running and stuff. And I think she was pregnant as well. And when she told him, this man, hey, this man said that that's some cheap thing that women of her kind or people like her use to entrap a man. So yeah, we are going to get married, and yeah, let's make lemonade. I was like, yo. And then, hey, no, 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 no. That man upset me. Becca, he made me very, very upset with him. Very, very upset. Now, we'll leave it at that first. The second couple. So, Turkey and Tumi. Turkey is a guy who was heartbroken before by a girl. He calls her Marie Antoinette or just Marie. And so he doesn't date women, he has affairs with them. So he'll meet a lady and he'll be like, I don't date. I just, I take you home. I go home with you and, we do ABCD and then, yeah, we leave. I do not date. So the first woman that we see him with, that's what happens. They go home, and she was supposedly in a relationship that didn't seem to matter. But then later on, he was at this shoot. He's a photographer. Yeah. So they were at this shoot in a club, and he saw this lady and he started just taking photos and photos of her, and she was flirting and being all girly and cutie and everything. So he takes a lot of photos of her, and the bar manager is like, yo, you know what, you shouldn't be doing that, blah blah blah, and all of this, you're supposed to be working, nini, nini. So later on he goes home and he's just interested in this lady, and the next day he's at this meeting with his friend. I think that is Donald, if I'm not mistaken. So he was with his friend who I think they work together or something. So yeah, he comes in and tells him that they're supposed to go on a modeling shoot. And so they do. Well, they're having this meeting in a cafeteria, I think. The lady, to me, she walks by outside the restaurant that they were at. And so he sees her and he goes and approaches her, says hi, and he strikes a conversation. So the way this show was written, these guys were very poetic and their monologues were very deep and oh my god, so full of emotion and all of these things. And for a person who doesn't like poetry, you'll be bored by the script. I found it to be both interesting and meh at times. But it was interesting for the most part. I won't even lie about that. But then these guys, the way they were flirting, the way they were talking, like to me is a straight shooter. You say what you want. And that's what I usually say. Like if you meet me outside there and you want to approach me, tell me what you want. Do you want to date? Do you want something casual? Do you want what? Then I'll decide if I'm interested in whatever you are trying to give me. And if I'm not interested in something casual, I'll tell you no. If I'm interested in it, I'll tell you yes. If I want to date as well, I'll tell you, yeah, I want to date. I don't want anything casual. And so that's to me. And so they talk and they flirt a little bit and they exchange numbers. And so he later on calls her to invite her on a date and they go. And she doesn't disclose that she is in a relationship until they have gone back home. And as Mkuru says again, they have read the constitution. Alafu, after that, her phone rings while they're in bed. And when she picks up, it's her boyfriend. And it is later revealed that the boyfriend actually is that photographer who has been taking or the videographer rather, who's been taking the video, the pre-wedding interview video for Mahalati and Becca. So that's how their worlds have intertwined. So this guy calls her and they start talking and she's saying like, oh, my love, blah, blah, blah. So remember that Turkey was heartbroken before by this lady Marie. And because of that, he became just a player. He doesn't do commitments and all of that. But he's the one guy that we saw growth and healing in that entire show. He went through every emotion. He allowed himself to accept everything, to take it in, to absorb it, and to be like, okay. And to her credit, to me, really, really helped him through it all. Because at that point, he asks her, like, are you dating? Is that your boyfriend? And she goes like, yeah, you didn't tell me that you have a boyfriend. And she goes like, you didn't ask. And so they talk about that. So it turns out that Tumi is in an open relationship with a videographer. And they're like, okay, sawa sawa. They don't stop doing what they were doing. So they continue. But then later on, it is revealed that they are having issues. So Tommy and the boyfriend, they are having issues because he wants kids, she's not ready for kids. But on the same day, I think that they showed that situation. I think it was the next day. Yeah, the next day, she wakes up and as she finishes brushing her teeth and she pukes. So, yeah, of course, in movies, whenever you puke, you are pregnant. And so she goes to the hospital and she's told that she's pregnant. And she's like, I've been using, I've been on the pill for years. I take them every day, blah, blah, blah. She calls to me, but then he's ignoring her phone calls at this time because by this time they think they'd been together 2 3 times or so. And so every time she left because the boyfriend had called her. And so when she left this time, he was upset. The last time he was upset and he didn't want to answer her phone calls. And she kept calling and calling. Even after she left the hospital, she kept calling him and he just didn't want to pick up. Actually, the last time she left, he also went out with now Katleho, this other lady that he had been taking photos of for work, that modeling thing. Yeah, so he went on a date with her. They had fun, and then they came back, ended in the on the bed, and so he pretended that he had a meeting so that she could leave, which was bad, by the way, but she did. So after that, I think he was feeling either guilty or he just didn't want to continue doing, that casual thing he was doing with Tumi. But then he didn't want to pick up her phone calls. So she came and saw him and they spoke about it. She told him that she was pregnant, but that it was her boyfriend's. So he was upset because, so you've been using protection with me, but not with him. And she was like, yeah, those things are not 100%. So they talk about it and she helped him open up a lot. You should watch it for the in-depth of everything they were saying. So she leaves and she's like, let's go and think about our situation right now. You think about it, I'll think about it, and then we'll come back together and talk about it. So she leaves and he goes to his friend's Donald's place for dinner with Donald and his wife. And while they're there, they're talking to him and they're like, okay, so he decides to call her because he really likes her. So he calls, but she's blocked him. And then he continued drinking and he got so drunk that he had to be put on the couch in their house because he couldn't drive. I was like, yo, okay, anyway, mapenzi wewe. So a while later, he meets up with her and they talk and they argue a little bit, by the way. And as he leaves, she follows him and they talk some more. And she goes like, I think you understand that we can't be together because, because of whatever has happened. They can be together. I didn't really hear their last conversation. I don't know where my mind was at. But yeah, go and watch the movie yourself and understand how it ended, their conversation, how it ended. So they had the best thing I loved about their relationship, it was always based on honesty. They didn't lie to each other. Like they were always honest, and she helped him open up and heal and accept that the things that happened to him weren't okay, but he has to heal in order for him to be able to go out. Otherwise, he'll be carrying that pain from that first lady Marie to every relationship that he has. And if he wants commitment, he has to be sure that he has healed enough for him to be in a committed relationship with somebody else. Otherwise, nobody will ever be able to trust him enough to give themselves fully to him, because what if he decides to run when things become serious because he's like, yeah, she's not answering my phone calls, where is she right now, or any other thing that will make him feel insecure. So they spoke and spoke and spoke. These guys really spoke. You should watch it. And then um before that final scene with them, actually Katleo came back and she was like, you know what, I went out the other day with a guy, telling this to Taki. And Taki goes like, okay. And she starts also being all poetic and telling him that he's a bad guy because he used her body and all of these things. And I was like, he told her, I told you the truth before we went out on that date. I told you I don't date. I told you what I wanted. You accepted, and now you are upset with me. I know this might sound wrong, but and I'm not even defending men here. But honestly, if a man came and told me that I just want to bed you, I don't want a relationship, I don't want anything. He's giving me an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. And I can walk away. But if I say like, oh, okay, fine, and I accept it and I let him do it, I should not go back to him and be like, why did you just bed me and then walk away? Like, why can't you commit to a relationship? Like, why blah, 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 you're breaking my heart. Why did you use my body? I don't get the chance to do that. I don't get to do that. I don't. Because you agreed, you are an adult. He told you what he wants. You accepted the conditions, and now you are turning the tables because of what? You have caught feelings or something after one night. So anyway, I'm not trying to defend men. I'll say that again. But I found that to be very, very childish of her. Like, she went on this beautiful talk, yeah, but she was telling it to the wrong person. Because, as he said, I told you at the beginning, I do not date. And she just didn't want to hear that. But anyway, yeah, they did that. But then that's when he went for that dinner with the friends. And then he met up with Tumi for the final time. And they spoke and they accepted that, yeah, they can't be together. So I think she decided to stay with the boyfriend and have the baby or something like that. Now, the final scene is of Malati. She's with the videographer again, finishing up her interview. And so she's talking about love and all of these things and how she decided to heal and move on from, Becca and his very, very toxic self. Like, that man, I'm still upset. I'm still so upset. And so she talks about it and her future and all of these things. And she ends with a very beautiful quote from Khalil Gibran. You should read his poetry, by the way, if you've never. He's such an amazing poet. And the more I found out about him because of Zayn Malik from One Direction, like he loves Khalil Gibran. He does so much. And so it's a beautiful quote. Go and watch it and read what it says because it's written at the end of the movie. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Go and watch the movie, read the quote yourself, and yeah, can't love other people if you do not love yourself. That is essentially what I got from this movie. Like, you have to love yourself in order to love other people. And if you do not love yourself, then you will not be able to love other people because you cannot give what you do not have within yourself. So yeah, that was such a very beautiful movie. Like, I know I read other reviews and people didn't like it so much, but yeah, I did love it for the most part. Okay, but of course it's South African, so there's some things I didn't like about it. I don't know, the bougie way they act. I don't know. Their acting is like I'm watching a US movie or something like that sometimes. Some parts, not the whole of it, just some parts. I don't know if it's the way it's executed, so maybe I should blame the director or something, but I don't know. I also didn't like they never showed how the boyfriend, like Tumi's boyfriend, how he reacted with the news of the baby because he wanted a child and she didn't, but then she is pregnant and we don't see how he reacts. Like, that was not okay. And also, like, the way she found out she was pregnant, it was just like that part seemed like it was forced. The script, from to me, it was good, but then that part felt like it was forced. I don't know, that part of her being pregnant. And also, because protection is not 100%, how did Tumi know for sure that that baby was her boyfriend's and not Taki's? Because, yeah, they use protection, but as she said herself, they are not 100%. So how did she know that it wasn't his? Maybe they spoke about that part, that final part that they met. As I said, I don't remember listening to the whole of it. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, there's something that is missing there. So that was a plot hole that I just didn't understand why they never tackled it to the end. I wish they did, because we should have been shown the way that guy reacted after he found out, oh, you're pregnant, and them sitting down and talking about it again. Now, like the way she sat down with Taki, she should have sat down with the boyfriend and spoken about it again. And maybe it's because the story wasn't about him per se, it was about Taki and Tumi, but he should have been given the chance to just close that part. But anyway, their costumes were amazing. The characters were great. The acting was good. Although I saw some people saying it was a subpar. But then this guy, Becca, anyway, I hate him because he did a good job. If he hadn't done a good job of portraying Becca, I wouldn't have hated him as much as I do. But then, I forgot one part. So when they break up, when Malatsi breaks up with him, he goes to the mistress that he was keeping on the side. And when he gets there, she has another man inside her house. So as he say that, oh, I love you, I've come back, I've left her, blah, 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 he realizes that there's another man in that house, and he comes from the closet. And so they break up too, and he goes back to his car, banging the steering wheel and stuff. And I was like, you deserved it. For treating your woman badly and being so toxic with her, you deserve that. So yeah, at least that one was rounded off. But then, as I said, that one for Tumi and the boyfriend, I wish they did better. But anyway, the acting, I found it to be good. It's just, I don't know, maybe there were some things that other people saw that I didn't, but I found it to be good. So go and watch it for yourself and, check if you'll agree with me or if you agree with the other reviewers. Cinematography was good. They were shooting in Joburg, so yeah, Johannesburg is beautiful. And the music, do I remember any songs being played? I'm sure there was. But as I said before, if it doesn't have words, it doesn't really click. Or maybe it did, but because it's not songs that I'm familiar with, then they didn't stick. I don't know. I'm not so sure. But yeah, overall, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, because I understood the message that they were trying to portray. I understood the script, I think, because it was more poetry. Like as I said, the monologues were just amazing. If you listen to the words that they were actually saying, and if you understood what I think the writer was trying to tell us, then you will understand why the movie was shot the way it was. You have to put yourself in the actor's mind and understand what she, I think, was trying to say with the movie. Because if you don't do that, then they won't be able to fully grasp and love this movie. But yeah, you should do that. It's a good movie. I'll give it a 7. Yeah. You can watch it. I don't know. It's rated 16 because of the themes. So yeah, don't watch it with a family. With family, like on a Sunday afternoon after church, don't do that. But it's a movie you can watch by yourself and just enjoy it. So it's on Netflix. Please go watch it, then come back and tell me if you agree with me or if you do not. Okay? Bye-bye now. Love you.